Hi there, Sandy Freshy here, back with another video. This video is for you if you have been struggling lately with not having enough energy to do the things that you think you need to do. So if you're new to this channel, I want to invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of when I upload new videos. And if you like this video and find it helpful, please like it and share it with anyone else you think would benefit. So I want to just talk a little bit from the human design perspective about not having the energy to do those things that you think you need to do. The other day on my Facebook page, someone commented that they don't even have the energy to do good self-care. And while this is a valid point, that sometimes we can't even, there are times when there's not enough energy in the body to even get out of bed, but I would venture to say that actually just not even doing anything is self-care in this case. And I kind of jumped ahead here, but what I wanted to open with is a question for you about whether or not you feel that this is okay not to have energy to do things. And I know that some of you are projector energy types or reflector energy types, and you don't really have motorized energy that gets up to your throat to do things. You don't have a defined sacral motor, so there's no consistent access to the energy to sustain work. And this is a big mechanical struggle within your designs, as it is with mine, because I am a projector. And I just want to open the door on perhaps the suggestion to let yourself off the hook, because if you don't have a defined sacral center and you don't have motorized energy that gets to your throat, you are not here to do things in the way that perhaps the generators and manifesting generators are here to do things. That doesn't mean that you can't do when the time is right to do and the energy is there for you to do those things that perhaps you're invited into, or if you're a reflector, you know, you've waited and gotten clarity through a full moon cycle. It doesn't mean that you won't ever have energy, but is it okay in this moment when you're laying in bed or wanting to take a nap or not feeling very focused to allow yourself that time to not do? And I want to also ask this of generators and manifesting generators, because there are times when you need to pause, when there is nothing for you to do because your sacral has not responded to anything. So is it okay? I mean, you know, in our culture, in Western culture, probably in Eastern culture by now too, that's influenced by the West, you know, there's this big value that we place upon getting stuff done, on being productive, on, you know, making sure that you accomplish things, that you live up to the promises that you make. And of course, 7/8 of us on the planet are not even here to make promises. It doesn't benefit us because we don't have the energy to follow through a lot of times on those promises. But there's this programming within the conditioning field that we've got to be doing something. We've got to be accomplishing something. We've got to have the energy to a lot of times take care of others, which I'm saying I don't want you to neglect your children or anything like that, but you know, it's like there's this big value placed upon always having to be on, always having to be busy, always having to look, at least look like you're busy. You know, when I was in the Navy, that was something that was kind of in the background, you know, of even if you have nothing to do, and there was a lot of standing around and waiting. There is in the military, waiting to mobilize, waiting to do to be mobilized to do your job. But in that standing around and waiting time, there was always this pressure to look like you're busy, even if you're not. You know, and it's such a sham. You know, when we look at the cycles of the planet, and we look at the seasonal cycles, you know, we're getting ready here in the Northern Hemisphere to go into fall. We're into fall and we're going into winter. You know, the earth doesn't produce plants during winter. You know, the earth doesn't, the trees and the grass doesn't grow in the winter. You know, the earth is dormant. And we too, regardless of our energy types and the way that our designs are, the way that our body graph is wired, what kind of motors we have, all of that stuff, we too have our seasons where we need to be dormant. So if you don't have energy right now to do those things that you need to do, I want you to consider whether or not something really has to be done, whether it's yours to do. And as I mentioned in one of the videos I did on procrastination, whether or not the timing is right, or you have another need that has to be met before you have the energy to do. And for those who don't have a defined sacral center, projectors and reflectors especially, you know, a lot of what is yours to do has to do with either your environment or with the other people around you who are inviting you out. And I've said it more than once, and I'll say it again, especially with projectors, especially, if there's no invitation, there's nothing to do. And I know that's a black and white way of looking at it, but if you're spending your dormant time, your time when you need to prepare and relax and rejuvenate and study and bask in your bliss, which is something that really helps us to stay connected to the eternal energy that flows through us, through our spirituality, through our connection with the divine. If you're spending your time for doing that, worrying about or judging yourself because you don't have the energy to pack yourself a lunch or to get up and exercise, or to send that next email right now, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your dormant time. That time when your body is telling you, hey, take 10 minutes, take an hour, take a day, take a week, whatever it is, however it is that your body is telling you, giving you those cues that it's your dormant time. If you're not allowing yourself to follow that rhythm and you're judging yourself because you don't have energy, then you're actually squandering energy that you don't have. Does that make sense? Like, you know, you're trying to get energy through worry or through, you know, and I don't want this to be just about projectors and reflectors, you know, generators, manifesting generators, you know, you can be squandering your sacral energy as well, trying to get stuff done that really doesn't matter, you know, or projectors and reflectors, you could be trying to get energy to do stuff that doesn't matter. So, you know, is it okay not to have energy right now? And if I were not recording this on the phone, I would show you my app that shows the transits right now. And I'll tell you that, and I may actually just put a clip somewhere up here, about what the transits are today on October 8th, 2019. And if you have any gates, defined gates that are coming from your sacral center, or meeting with defined gates in the transits that are connected to the sacral center, you may actually be burned out by too much energy. And again, that's a time to really step back and relax and allow yourself to be dormant for a little while until you can balance your body out, until your body finds another balance, so that you have clarity about how to move forward and take your next step. So I want to encourage you to, if you're feeling like it's not okay to not have energy, to experiment with just doing nothing. You know, I didn't have a lot of energy last week at all. And some of it had to do with some of the ways that my sacral center, my undefined sacral center, was being activated. And I gave myself that permission after a little struggle, you know, with my to-do list. I gave myself permission to just put a lawn chair out under the tree in my yard and sit out there and do nothing. And believe it or not, you know, just the act of doing nothing for a half hour, an hour, rejuvenated me enough to go and do something that really was essential for my well-being and my self-care. And then as I listened to my body, I realized, okay, well, you know, now I need to go and do nothing again and take a nap. And sometimes that's the way it is. And I know that's hard to hear if you've got to maintain a job, or you know, you have kids to take care of or whatever, but you will discover your rhythm within that if you let yourself off the hook, if you make it okay not to have energy at times, and you allow yourself to rejuvenate and do nothing in those times when there's nothing to do. And you'll find that on the other end, you'll be able to manage these ebbs and flows and become very much more discerning about what's really yours to do, where you're putting pressure on yourself when you don't have to get things done, when it's time to rest, when it's time to be dormant, and when it's actually time when your body actually has the energy to move forward and to do the next thing that presents itself to you. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, be well.